Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Rebecca. I make handmade greeting cards. In today's video, you can follow along as I draw a bouquet of yellow flowers in a vase. I'll be using the Adobe Fresco app on my iPad Air. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I like to start out by creating a vase outline just to get a general shape going and an outline for this image. And afterwards, I'll lower the opacity of the layer. And then I'll create a new layer and begin creating the different elements for this drawing. Okay, so I've created like a very rough sketch of some leaves and the branches and different areas of flowers that will fill up the space. So now that I have lowered the opacity of the layer, I'm going to create a new layer and draw on top of it to create the outline. Okay, so I'm zooming in and out as I try to create the shape of the vase. You can see me trying it several times. So just trying to make it more symmetrical on the left and the right side. I'll spin the canvas around, still trying to get it just right. So I'll spend a few minutes here just tweaking it and trying to get it the way I want it to look. Eventually, I just make a copy of the left side and flip that line and move it to the right side so it looks even and connect everything together. I'm creating a base. Alright, so now I've combined all the layers together, and I'll go in and start drawing in the stems. So I'll add in more branches, and this will be the area that I'll place the flowers once I create the base for the flowers. So you'll see that I'm using one flower for a reference, and this is so that way I can create multiple flowers in relatively the same size. So I'll just create multiple flowers on each layer, and then later on I'll be able to move them around as I place them. And then I will move them with the rest of the branches and now I will move the leaves around and add them to the bouquet. Okay, so I'm just going to make a few more flowers to fill up the space. Next, I'll begin to create the lines for the vase. I want to make a striped vase, so just adding the lines on it. And then what you'll see is me grouping each layer together and merging the layers, so that way I can clean up all the lines at once. Okay, so after I add in the horizontal lines to the vase, I'll draw some more leaves. Again, I'm using the technique of creating a reference and drawing on top of it and making multiple leaves so I can move them around. Alright, so now I'm just setting everything up so I can add so that way I can add color. To the flowers. So I've chosen a golden yellow color, and I'll begin coloring. The technique I'm doing here is adding the color for each flower on its own layer, so that way I can move things around. So the end result of this drawing, I don't want to have black lines, so the black lines that I've made will just be there for reference. Otherwise, it would make sense to add the color inside the lines, but I want to create them separately. I want to create the black lines on its own layer and the color on its own layer. I'm just continuing on and adding yellow to each flower and adding a bit of orange right in the middle. Alright, so now that I've finished coloring in the flowers, I'll move on to the leaves, and I'll do the same thing. I'll lower the opacity of the layers and start coloring in the leaves with green. So I decided to use two different shades of green. So one's a darker green and then one's it's a lighter color. Okay, so after coloring in the leaves, I'll move on to the branches. And I've decided to make the branches a brown color. So that was pretty simple. Okay, next I'm going to color in the vase. I've chosen a nice blue for the vase, so I'm just going to go in and color in the whole thing. Definitely outside of the lines, and what you'll see me do next is make a selection and erase anything that was on the outside of the lines. Then I'll start adding in white horizontal lines, the stripes for the vase. So I wanted a blue and white vase, or a blue vase with white stripes. So I'm going in with the color white and just adding that. Okay, next I'm just cleaning up the edges of the vase with the white stripes going across it. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I want the leaves and the flowers to look like they're sitting inside of the vase. So what I'll do is create a copy of the vase, and because I'm using layers, I can take that copy and bring it below everything. And then on the top layer of the vase, I'll erase part of it so that way the leaves and the stems look like they're sitting inside of the vase. It's basically like, it's like a sandwich. So the top layer is the outside of the vase, the middle layer is the flowers, and then the bottom layer is the back of the vase. After that, I'll erase, or I'll hide the reference layers and begin moving flowers and leaves around in this bouquet till I get it the way I want it to look. I want a full looking bouquet, so I'll go in and add green dots, green buds. It's a slightly lighter color, slightly lighter green shade. And I'll just go in and fill it up. And then after that, I'm going to add yellow to fill up some of the blank areas as well. After filling up the bouquet, I'll make some adjustments to the vase. So I'm cleaning up the edges of the vase. And so we're just about done, and I'll continue tweaking and adding shadows to some of the petals, so in areas where the petals are overlapping, they'll stand out a little bit better. Then I'll move on and do a similar thing with the stems. You'll see me make a copy of the stems and put it on top of everything and erase different areas where I want the stems to peek through on top of the flowers and below the flowers. And that just about wraps it up. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.